Hi guys. Yesterday my mic died. So I'm going to continue from here. So we talked about grace, one factor that even if we do all the other things, this factor is important, or we call it divine guidance. So apart from all the technical stuff that we discussed yesterday, we should know how to invite divine guidance to our relationships for it to work. So this is where who is your Ishtadevada, who are you praying to, etc. comes into play. So I've told you earlier, if you would stay until the last, I would give you two bonus tips. One is how to say yes, the other one is how to say no. So when it comes to saying yes, a lot of people has a problem, right? Like, how will I say yes? What if I say yes now? Later, what if I change my mind? Guys, when you get an invitation like that, always remember yes is the sweetest word. A lot of people, everyone want to hear yes, right? It's such a beautiful word. Now, when you commit to a certain invite to say yes, okay, there is always, you have a lot of opportunity to say yes, and then you have time to learn all the skills that you will need for that to work. Now when you commit to such a situation, you make it clear that I cannot commit 100% because I have certain lack of skills. Can you help me with these skills, or can you compensate for the skills that I don't have? Okay, then he would say, okay, I can compensate. Good thing that you told me in advance. So saying yes doesn't has to be a scary thing. As long as you're clear, again, as long as I have to go to the previous points, right? All the things I said before in terms of invitation, expansion, and diminishing relationships is applicable in this as well. If you're clear about the mutual benefits that you can bring to the table and what are the vulnerabilities that you have, which is basically lack of skills. If you discuss this, then you don't have to worry about saying yes. And always remember, everyone has the right to change their mind anytime. Okay, now how do you say no to someone? So this is also a difficult thing for a lot of people. Always remember, guys, you are going to talk only on the basis of lack of skills. So let's say there is a close friend of yours is coming to your house that he want you to sell Amway products, and this is a close friend and you're kind of intimidated that he's doing this to you. In that case, how can you say no? You are going to discuss is that I don't have the same skill that you have, which is I cannot go to a friend that is very close to me and talk like I'm here for no agenda while I'll go there with an agenda. And you're not disrespecting this person, okay? You're asking him, if I do the things that you're doing, can you guarantee that I'm going to be 100% success? You can ask these questions that will help that person also evaluate the relationship. So this is how you would say no. You cannot just say, hey, I don't want to do this. Okay, that will go to a lot of problems. But if you're willing to talk, putting in the effort to make it clear that you don't have the skills that this person is trying to ask you to do, then you can come to a common ground and your relationship will not be affected. There is a famous quote that says, there is nothing in this world that cannot be solved using dialogue, which is communication. So if you can discuss the lack of skills, you will be surprised that your relationship would even become better. Sometimes the problems in a relationship is because the person is not feeling heard. They have a pain, they have inside the pain there is always an ambition. So if you focus on the ambition under the pain, everything will fall into place. So again, to recap, if you want to improve your relationship, you should have a space where you can bring the vulnerabilities and the pain of both people to the table, where you will discuss the mutual benefit and lack of skills and a clear timeline where you can achieve these skills that is missing. Once you do this, you create a feedback system. A feedback can be three types. Number one is positive feedback. Number two is constructive criticism. And number three is negative feedback. What do you mean by positive feedback? If you get value in your relationship, you have to express it to the other person. You have to let the other person know. A lot of people have problems with this. When they get something from the other person, they wished for, they planned for, they will not acknowledge. The easiest way to acknowledge something is by saying thank you. Very easy, right? Some people doesn't want to say thank you. You can express it in many ways. You can show it through body language, facial expression. A smile sometimes means more than thank you, then you express it that way. But you should have a feedback system to let the other person know that things are going well and things are not going well, right? It's called a feedback system of breakthroughs and breakdowns. Okay, so how often do you need to have a feedback system? Daily, I would say daily. Every time you're equally monitoring the mood, that is how you evaluate. So you are evaluating, and also you are expecting feedback from each other. So feedback really helps. It makes it more easier for the person to evaluate the relationship. The second type of feedback is positive criticism. If you take the situation of a child, okay, this is what the studies says, is that until the age of 7, you play with the child because that's where you create bond with the kid. Then 7 to 15, you can discipline the child, okay, whatever that means to you, right? Disciplining is a totally different concept in the West and also in India, for example. But from the age of 15 to 24, you're going to support that person. If you do these if you go through these three phases of a kid, that kid will be able to stay bonded with you for the rest of your life. Constructive criticism means when somebody would put a thing in front of you, you're going to analyze it and you're going to give a feedback from your experience. If you have done something related to that, right? If not, do not give advice to anyone. The easiest thing to do is give an advice, right? We have seen a lot of people like that. You only take advice from someone who has done something in that particular aspect. If not, he is not qualified to give you advice, and make sure that you don't take advice from that person. Guruji has a concept where either he has done something and also you paid him money to give an advice from in that particular field. So be careful from who you take advice. So this is constructive criticism. The third one is negative criticism. Nobody has the right to tell someone else that it's not possible unless that person has actually done this and he's an expert in that field. Then okay, that makes sense because he's actually done that thing and he's talking from experience. But that is not most of the time the case. A lot of people give advice out of their own inadequacy. So they have problems in their life they did not do properly, and when somebody will come along, they will give an advice. So for the meantime, they will feel like okay, they are a little bit better than the other person. Most of the time, this is the psychology behind people giving advice. In my opinion, the ones who giving unsolicited advice is usually have some problems going on in their own life. Okay. So this is three types of feedbacks. So no matter what is happening, always remember these concepts. If you stayed until here, thank you so much for listening. I want you to do something with this knowledge. I want you to take one relationship that you really want to improve, or it could be a new relationship that you want to initiate. Take a paper and write down all the mutual benefits that both of you going to get from that relationship. Use the principles that I explained earlier. Then analyze what are the skills that you are missing. then you can, these two things you do for yourself, then you can easily go and approach the other person, because you know how to talk, what to talk, everything will automatically come to you if you do evaluate yourself. Okay, so take this and make the best out of this, and if you have any questions, go to the comment section and I'll be happy to answer them. And that's all, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.